What's up guys, Nostal-Gi-Oh here, back with another Master Duel video, and today we're going to be talking about the best 5 decks to be playing in Master Duel Ranked right now, because the rank just reset, and, players are looking for new decks to play, maybe a second deck, maybe, improve their best deck. So, today we have 5 deck lists, and we actually have 8 because of honorable mentions. But we have 8 deck lists, so those are going to be down in the description down below. So if you are just looking for lists, we have those linked so you can, click on those and see what's up. But other than that, that's the video today. So before we get into the actual video, I just want to take a second and ask you to like, comment, subscribe the video. It really makes a big difference. And if you're also shopping on TCG Player, use my affiliate link. It costs you no extra and it directly supports the channel. So I really do appreciate it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so like I said, we're starting with 3 honorable mentions. The first one is going to be Eldlich. I think this deck is really, really solid. It's not quite the best deck in the game, but it is really, really powerful. Trap cards are really powerful, and you have things like Judgment to, ignore Harpy Feather Duster and Lightning Storm, other cards like that are blowouts. But, Skill Drain is a no-brainer in the format. It's a Max C format, and Max C doesn't hurt this deck too bad. I mean, obviously, when you use one of the traps and then chain this trap, and then activate Max C is pretty rough, but that's why we play things like Strike. The deck is just overall very powerful with triple Extravagance, triple Demise, and triple Max C. You're always drawing. It's very consistent. And, your worst hands are usually set 5, which is still pretty scary. You also have triple Skill Drain, so you get to sit behind Floodgates all day and watch your opponent struggle, which is something a lot of players do enjoy. And, yeah, this deck is definitely no schlub. Definitely no schlub of a deck. It's very powerful. As far as the extra deck goes, Natis is really important. Volcasaurus is very cheap, and all of these cards are really good as well, but kind of expensive. So, Pleiades and Gustav Max are all ultra rares. So, but just play, good targets for Dogmatic of Punishment. High attack. Skull Knight is a really good one. The one that pops, the Fossil Knight guy, banished to pop. It's very good. So, Eldlich, great contender for the format. Definitely something I would recommend to a newer player, especially, since Skill Drain can kind of just win the game a lot of the time. Definitely something that I would recommend to a newer player or just a player who enjoys trap cards in general. Very good deck. Next, I'd like to mention True Draco. True Draco I don't think is quite the best deck in the game or even, in the top 5, but I think it's definitely a great honorable mention and a huge contender for the format. It is a really powerful deck. It's really fun, in my opinion, as well, and it's also another one of those decks that has some floodgates, and you can kind of just watch your opponent struggle. It's pretty good. You have a Skill Drain in the deck that is Skill Drain for everything that's not Tribute Summoned, which all your monsters are Tribute Summoned, so you kind of have just Skill Drain for your opponent, which is pretty stupid, to say the least. The deck's really powerful, and we have the triple card of Demise, which is cool. Also, also a really good thing to mention, deck is super cheap. If you don't, have Judgments or Strikes or Max Cs or anything, that's okay. Just replace them with good trap cards and stuff. I'd probably still recommend getting Max Cs immediately and Judgments as soon as you can. But, Demise, Duality, Dynamite, it's all super rare, and everything else is super rare or cheaper, except, like, the staples of Emptiness, Strike, Judgment, and Max C. So, overall, the deck is really cheap, it's really good, and it's really fun. So, it's definitely a really good contender for the format, also a really good option for budget players or newer players in general. Really good deck, awesome stuff. Next, the last one that I'd like to mention before we actually get into the top 5 decks in the format is Prank Kids. This deck is really powerful. It's fairly cheap. Once again, you only really have the your staples, called buys, crossouts if you play them, hand traps like Ash, Max C, Imperms, stuff like that is definitely, they're the more expensive cards that you can play. You don't have to play them. You can cut them out for more budget options, budget alternatives. We have Gamma, which is good in the deck. Skullmeister is a cheaper alternative to, for a hand trap. You can just play less staples in general. Really, I would recommend getting the Max Cs, the Ashes, and the Called Buys. Those are probably the first priority. And then Imperms and your powerful one-of Ultra Rares are kind of just behind there, but also really good. But if you're not, looking to play this deck as budget as possible, you can play it very, very aggressively with things like Designator, or you can play just the regular engine and then just, good stuff, staples. We don't have the Mystic Mine variant, unfortunately, but that's okay. And honestly, it's fortunate because nobody likes, Mystic Mine in general. But, yeah, this deck is really powerful. It's a very good combo deck, and it's, the combo's pretty easy to learn, so definitely newer players could get it as well. Budget players can get this deck as well. And it's just a really strong deck in the format. Tier 1.5, I'd say. It's really powerful. It is unfortunate we have one Meow Meow, but that's okay. Oh, wait. We don't have one Meow Meow. We have unlimited Meow Meow. Never mind. TCG Brain, right? So yeah, this deck is really good. Definitely, for sure. It's a very powerful combo deck, and it's fun to play. It's one of my favorite decks in the game. You know, not only currently, I love this deck. I played it for, you know, a couple months back in TCG when Meow Meow came out, and it's just a really fun deck in general. Anyway, moving on to the actual top 5 list for the format, and in number 5, we have Sky Striker. I think this deck's really powerful. It's a very good deck in the format. This is my friend Dan's list. I profiled it on the channel the other day. If you want to hear his in-depth explanation of this particular list, go check that out on my channel. Platinum 1 Sky Striker deck profile. Deck's really good. And, you know, my friend had a good time piloting this deck to Platinum 1, so it's a good list. Anyway, you know, getting into the actual list, it's a little unconventional. There's a couple different things that I was like, huh, really? You know, 2 multi-roll instead of 3, and then a couple of these guys at 1-ofs, like Afterburners and even Shark Cannon. But overall, the list isn't really what we're highlighting here. It's the fact that the deck is really good. The deck is really good. It's a good mid-range deck that can really, really have some slaughter turn plays. Any of the hand traps can become a kill button with the deck. You go into the access code Talker Play, and with what's this called? Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon, you can take really strong monsters as well, just to go for game with the access code. If you don't know what the play does, you know, the Effect Veiler or Ash with another monster makes Hulk. Hulk summons out the Effect Veiler from your deck, and then you link those two into Selene, and then you use Selene effect to special summon Effect Veiler back from the graveyard, and then special summon Access Code Talker by linking the Effect Veiler and the Selene together to make the access code. You nuke your opponent's field and then kill them. So it works pretty well. You know, you have a really solid win con in the deck with that, and then you have really solid, like, you know, recoup plays with Engage, and you have very solid, like, aggressor plays with that, with, like, Kagari Engage. You can loop triple Engage in one turn really, really easily, and then end phase multi-roll, set everything back, and the deck can just, like, get in an advantageous, you know, opportunity so easily. So the deck is really, really powerful, definitely really good. Tier 1, maybe tier 1.5, very good, but in my opinion, top 5 deck. So, very good. List in the description, as always. All these lists are going to be in the description. So that is top 5. Let's go to top 4. In 4th place, we have PK. I think this deck is incredibly scary. And, you know, combo warning, everybody. The rest of these decks are going to be combo decks. So, you know, if you're not really looking for a combo deck, but looking more for the mid-range, you know, check out maybe Eldlich, Sky Striker, True Draco, one of those decks. And even Prank Kids. It is a combo deck, but it can grind for a while. So can PK, but, you know, it really likes that initial combo, especially with the Rango combo. If you don't know the Rango combo, you know, set up a rank 3 and a rank 4, and then this rank 3 can attach itself to this rank 4, making this a 5 material Rango, which says, you know, your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters, which is pretty fun. And also, its other effect is unaffected by other card effects, which is pretty fun. So yeah, Rango is pretty stupid. If this combo can go off, if the Rango combo resolves, it's pretty much game. You can't summon for 2 turns. You kind of just set and pass. But PK has infinite follow-up, so it kind of just plays without you really getting to play. It's pretty dumb. But you can, you know, one well-placed Effect Veiler can kind of fold this deck. So, you know, whatever. It's definitely a top 5 deck. It's a very, very powerful contender. We see it, you know, getting some good turning placements and stuff like that, and the deck's just really, really powerful. If you're looking for a good combo deck, or like Rango, this is literally the best place for you to go for the rank season. So it's very good. And overall, the deck is fairly cheap. You obviously have staples like Max C, Droplet, Ash, Called By, all those. But really the only, like, expensive things you need are in the extra deck. A lot of this stuff is ultra rare. You have Rusty, you have Cherubini, IP, Unicorn, Access Code, Appaloosa, Zeus, and Rango, all ultra rare. So the deck is fairly expensive in the extra deck and staples. But if you play without the staples and play a more minimalistic extra deck, you get away with playing this deck fairly budget and taking it to a high rank. So very solid. Although if you want to play this deck at max, you know, capacity like this list, it's kind of expensive. The staples in the extra deck goes a long way for ultra rare gems. So not the best option for a budget player. But that's not really what we're talking about today. We are factoring in budget, but it's not the main point of existence for today. Anyway, that is in 4th place, PK. Let's talk about 3rd place. So in 3rd, best deck in the format. In 3rd, I have Tri-Brigade Zoo. I think this deck's also, a pretty ridiculous deck in general. The Tri-Brigade stuff is very good, and we have it basically full power. And also the Zoo stuff is really good, and we have it fairly full power. We have Broad Bull, and it's not even in this list that I net decked. So, just goes to show how powerful this deck is. Revolt is an incredibly powerful card, even though it requires like 30 inputs in the actual game. You have to designate each target and then confirm each target and then activate each effect. And it's a lot of inputs. But if you can get past that, deck is really solid and really fun. It can end on Appaloosa Revolt with, multiple hand traps very, very easily. This is the only deck that I see really playing an insane amount of hand traps, and it's playing a lot. This list in general, or this list in particular, that's the best word, is using a lot of hand traps. We're playing triple Maxi, triple Ash, triple Nib, and triple Imperm. Which is just a crazy amount of hand traps, but it's very, very solid. And as far as consistency goes, you really just need to see one of these names to pop off, or one of these names to pop off in the Zoo department. So it's very, very easy. And then we also have triple Tenki and triple Desires. So the deck's uber consistent, plays a lot of hand traps, and really only needs to see 1 or 2 names to really get into the actual deck. And both of them are tutorable from the other engine. Well, not really, because not Broad Bull in this deck, but the Shurag can get you into your tries. The Shurag can get you into your, guys with Revolt. It's just a really solid deck in general, and it combos very strong. It is weak to Max C, but you play Called By, you could play Crossout Designator, especially since the deck's playing a million hand traps anyway. It's just really good, a very solid contender, top 3 in my opinion, 3rd place actually in my opinion. But I just think the deck's really powerful. Appaloosa Revolt with plus hand traps, it's really powerful, and the deck, it has a low ceiling, but it can grind continuously every single turn, and a Revolt is one hell of a card, man. Revolt gives you so much. It gives you a search, a foolish, a banish, and another search when the guy on your field leaves the field. And if you already went through a Shurag, making the second Shurag with the first Shurag means you're getting 2 searches, a banish, and a foolish burial. It's ridiculous, man. Revolt is an insane card, and it's good. And this deck's not even playing Rescue Cat. You can play Rescue Cat. There's a really good Rescue Cat variant, playing the Rescue Cats, Gammas, maybe Triple Tactics, maybe Cross-Out Designators, all that stuff. So this is just one way to play, but this is a damn good way to play it. So yeah, that is it for that. Let's go on to number 2 of the format, and this, in my opinion, is neck and neck with number 1 in the format. It's this and the other deck, and who's to say which one's better? To be honest, they're both just unbelievably powerful in the format. And also, let me also say, this is like a fairly subjective list. It's definitely subject to change. Honorable mention, real quick before we get into these two, is Grass is Greener decks. Really powerful Dragon Lynx decks, Adamancipator, Infernoid. Grass is Greener is really powerful. Also, because due to the just weird nature of the list in general, we have a lot of things that could be, from left field that just are scary and win tournament after tournament. Really powerful stuff. 60 card decks, Dragon decks, Snow decks, Thunder decks. Like, there's just this game has a lot of room for new weird decks that are cool, that are just more unconventional. So, these decks are more on the conventional side. But yeah, that, little side tangent gone. Let's talk about the second best deck, or maybe best deck in the format, Drytron. Drytron's crazy. Drytron's a crazy deck, guys. This deck is stupid. It's honestly better than we've ever had it in TCG, because we have the current list has triple Ben 10, any amount of Eva, and Herald of Ultimateness and everything. Like, it has the full deck, full power with Diviner and everything. But we have cards that didn't exist when Ben 10 was out. At 3. If you guys didn't know, in TCG, Ben 10 was hit to 1 before we got Diviner, before we got Mu Beta. It's crazy. It's literally in a position that has never been played in both TCG or OCG. It's just crazy. We have this deck full power, actual full power, and that's just crazy. Triple Ben 10, guys. Triple Ben 10. Ew. Triple Ben 10. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's filthy. It's crazy. But yeah, it's really, really good. Triple Ben 10, the Diviner. The deck's uber consistent and uber powerful. And if Max C doesn't get resolved against you, you're kind of having the time of your life. And honestly, this deck isn't playing it, but they actually do have an out to droplets with the Union Hanger, not Union Hanger, what's his name? Union Carrier and B Buster Drake combo. Guys, this deck can play through droplets with Herald of Ultimateness. It's insane. And even if you don't end on that interruption, you usually end on Herald of Orange Light and an Eva in hand, which means even if they do droplets your Ultimateness, you likely still have 2 monster negates. That's disgusting. That's insane. This list isn't even playing the B Buster Drake stuff. That's how powerful this deck is, that it doesn't even need to play the droplets out. It's crazy. This deck is really, really powerful, and it is fairly expensive. You do need main deck ultras like Diviner. You need Foolish Burial if you play that. The Meteonis Drytron is ultra rare. The staples of Called by Ash, Max C. This list isn't even playing Max C. Like, what? That's crazy. This is an ultra rare. I think Draconids is an ultra rare. And the extra deck has ultra rares out the ass, to be honest. Natis. I don't know if this is, but Zeus is. Mubeta, I think, is an ultra. It might be a super. Beatrice is an ultra. IP, Linkaribo, Unicorn, Borosword, Appaloosa. They're all ultras. So, Union Carry is an ultra. Droplets is an ultra if you play that. So the deck's not like super cheap, but you can play it fairly cheap. You know, I have one of my friends has been playing fairly budget. They've been playing without like Beatrice. They've been playing without the Union Carrier combo. I mean, like they just got Ultimateness. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, the deck is really, really powerful, and you can honestly you can take this to like max rank without everything, without it full power. I think, but with full power, you should have no problem getting to max rank. This deck is just so powerful, and you know, a lot of newer players in the lower ranks won't even know where to stop this deck or like where to do anything with like an Ash or an Imperm or something with any low impact hand trap. You're just not doing it. So yeah, really just, you know, if you're not going first against this deck, open Maxi and hope they don't have Called by your Ash. That's really all I have for you there. So yeah, Drytron, it's one of the best decks, if not best deck. Let's get on to the last deck here, the deck that I have in first place, but like I said, it's neck and neck with Drytron. Virtual World. It comes as probably a no-brainer to anybody that watches this channel. You know that I love Virtual World. I think the deck's really, really powerful, and the fact that you can play around droplets with the Chuchi VFD, it just solidifies this deck as best deck in my opinion. I think it's just super, super powerful. I think it's fairly consistent. I know it has problems every now and again bricking, but what deck doesn't, you know? But this might happen a little bit more. A lot of people have been having a hard time playing this deck. You know, its combos are really weird. So is Drytron, though, to be honest. Like, you kind of just improvise the entire time, getting to your good end board. And this end board is really, really powerful with the VFD Chuchi, and then potentially other interrupts. You can get the Ultimate to Zolkin up fairly quickly, and I've been Nibiru'd and stuff before I get to that, like when I make the Ultimate to Zolkin, be Nibiru'd, and then I can't like continue, but a lot of the time you just can still make VFD or True King of all calamities. A lot of people, you know, this guy is VFD, by the way. If you never know what somebody's saying when they say VFD, it means True King of all calamities. It was an OCG name. But yeah, this deck can make VFD so easily, so just like painfully easily. And it's crazy. It's really, really powerful. I think this deck is probably the best deck. It's very strong. It's not incredibly fragile. It can play through interrupts. Going second, the deck doesn't struggle too much, especially with droplets, but even with just like Qinglong and stuff in general, it's really good. And when we get the Brave Engine, whoo, VW stonks are even going to go up from here. That deck's insane in the TCG currently with the Brave Engine. We don't have that in here in Master Duel yet, but hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we'll get it really soon. So, that is my opinion on the best decks, the top 5, and some honorable mentions as well. So, you know, that's really it for the video. If you're looking for deck lists, all of them are going to be in the description. And, yeah, that's it. Have a good week. Enjoy, you know, Master Duel, the new ranked. Good luck climbing on the ranked season. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It makes a big difference. It really does. And if you use TCG Player, use my TCG affiliate link. You know, it costs you no extra, and it directly supports the channel. I would appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good week, and goodbye.